Fintech Australia and Tier 1 People present the 2022 People's Choice Awards. The Finnies Award, where the Australian fintech community gets to decide the winner. Make sure to join us on the 23rd of June 2022 in Melbourne for the industry's most prestigious awards event. Now, here are a few words from one of this year's finalists.
Hey, hi guys, I'm Chris Lumby from Nano, and we're here to deliver rapid and seamless lending experiences.
Nano is finalist in People's Choice Award for Emerging FinTech of the Year 2022. Chris, congrats to you and everybody at Nano for making it to this year's finals.
Thank you, Dexter. Appreciate it.
Mate, you guys must be stoked, eh? It's a really tough competition again this year.
Indeed. When I look at the competition that we're up against, many of them have such credible offers. It's just fantastic to be put alongside them.
Fantastic. Well, look, what we're going to do is talk about Nano today and why the fintech community should vote for you guys as the winner of the People's Choice Award. But first of all, let's talk about the big problem that Nano solves. Could you share a little bit more with the listeners?
Yeah, sure. So when we think about it, Nano is a technology company first and foremost, and we're operating in the lending space. And this really differentiates us from others in the lending industry who essentially use technology to improve what is a traditional, 15-year-old process. And what we're all about is building the world's fastest home loan approval process. And look, we've had home loans approved where someone has started the application through to unconditional approval in as little as 8 minutes. And, for the industry, this is game changing. It changes the time to yes service standard from weeks to minutes, and it also lowers the unit economic costs of processing a loan. And when I think about it from a consumer viewpoint, it provides them with digital experiences they've become accustomed to in other industries, and it also takes away the stress and anxiety out of the home loan process.
How did you get Nano off the ground, Chris?
Yeah, so look, Nano has been around since the September 2019, and we went to public launch in July last year, so 2021. So we've been operating in the public for 10 months. Now, that time before launch was really interesting. We spent 9 months essentially refining our offer, where we would test and learn with customers who were families and friend. And it was an iterative process. We put them through what we'd built, get their feedback, iterate again. And we did that for about 9 months until we were ready to take it to the public.
And so are you a B2C play, or have you got is there B2C to B play here?
Yeah, great question. So look, Nano goes to market in two ways. We've got two business lines essentially. The first is our lending business, and the second is our technology platform business. Now, our lending business is our direct-to-consumer business, which is nano.com.au. And as I said, we launched this to the public last July. We now have more than 1,500 customers, and our growth velocity is increasing week on week. Like, to give you an example, it's mid-May now. We've written more home loans month to date than we did for the entire month of April. So really pleased with that velocity, and it's been driven by customers seeking an alternative. And we see 3 out of 4 Nano customers refinancing from traditional players. Our second business line is our technology business. Now, this is where we license our onboarding technology for other banks and large non-bank customers to use. Now, for these businesses, what it gives them is a faster time to yes, better unit economics, and a way better customer experience. Now, today, we partnered with Australia's largest mortgage broker, Connective, and we're also in build with 2 of Australia's top 10 banks and have a strong pipeline of other opportunities here. We're also working through what our go-to-market strategy is to take this tech global, and that's a pretty exciting path to be on.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you it's a massively competitive market that you're in. Not only the big 4 banks, but you've got a lot of fintech players in there who are all kind of promising fairly similar things. How have you differentiated Nano from the rest of the competition?
Yeah, great question. And it comes from the fact that we're a technology company first and foremost, not a lender. And because of that, culturally, how we approach the problem is very different. We didn't take yesterday's process and try and incrementally improve it. What we did was start with a blank sheet of paper and said, well, what outcomes do we need to achieve? And how can we get there using technology and data quickly? And when I look at our competitors in the marketplace, yes, they offer digital application forms. And to a consumer, yes, it does look digital. But at the end of the day, that digital application needs to be reviewed by a credit underwriter who will take it through a traditional process. Now, that adds time, cost, and money. With Nano, we can process a loan in its entirety from someone applying online through to unconditional approval without any human intervention. Now, that is game-changing, not only here in Australia, but globally as well.
You talked about global. Where's the business at now in terms of number of people, where you're based, etc.?
Yeah, so we've got a rapidly growing business. It's I mentioned we went to public launch, 10 months ago, and at that stage we were 30 people. Right now we're more than 140 people. So the growth has been extraordinary. And that growth is all about not only supporting our lending business, but our technology business, where we're partnering with banks to build them, the world's fastest mortgage onboarding process.
Talent is such a major issue, and I think we've often, Chris, celebrated raising capital. I think now in these days we should be celebrating being able to hire great talent more than raising the capital. Incredible that you've got 90 people on board in the last 9 months, 12 months. How on earth have you gone about doing that, and what innovative approaches have you taken to bringing on? It's not just about hiring anybody, right? It's a really unique type of person who's going to be successful in fintech.
Yeah, spot on. Like many companies, we've seen the shortage in tech talent, and we've had to look at different ways to elevate our culture and employee value proposition to make us the place where people want to work. And that really is our focus in terms of how we recruit. Our values are around innovation, simplicity, and fairness. So when we're going through the recruitment process, those values are core to what we look at. We must have people that believe in those values and where we're going for them to be a fit with Nano. We need people who think like how we think, but also, think differently at the same time. In terms of, hiring, we've had in-house, we've brought on a recruiter to help us with that process, but we've also introduced an employee referral program, and that has resulted in some fantastic hires.
Awesome. What initiatives have you put in place to develop and kind of retain great talent as well?
Yeah, great point, because they're hard to get, but you don't want to lose them. Yeah. So look, we just did our second employee survey. We do them annually, which has helped us enhance our employee value proposition to ensure that we're developing and retaining the right people. And look, as part of that, we've come up with some great new initiatives that we believe will help us stand apart from other businesses. Things that we've done is allocated more team time at offsites, and with people working remotely, them coming together is becoming more important. We've also introduced a free counselling program. We've added more leave benefits, including religious and cultural leave and miscarriage leave. And we've also put in place an Employee of the Month recognition program.
Awesome. And you talked there about people. Have you been able to take advantage of remote working and hire talent globally? Or have you been focused mainly on Australia?
Yeah, great question. We've been focused mainly on Australia. We've been able to attract the talent that we need to within the domestic market, which has been fantastic for us. Nano is now starting to build a brand within some of the areas in which we are recruiting, and that's working in our favour.
Yeah. So, Chris, one of the things that's really struck me with this year's finalists is that we're seeing very much this theme of fintech actually being a real force for good and having a positive benefit on society. How is Nano kind of having a positive impact on society?
The home loan process, for those that have been through it, can take weeks, and it leaves people quite anxious and stressed, not knowing if their home loan is going to get approved. And essentially what we've done is remove that stress and anxiety for customers by giving them the home loan process that is fast. So they get an answer then and there so they can make a decision and move on.
And so I guess when you kind of look back at the journey, from kind of that initial phase that you talked about of, sitting down with a blank sheet of paper and kind of figuring out what the outcomes were that customers were looking for. What do what's kind of your proudest achievement when you look back over that as to kind of that point and where you are now, Chris?
Yeah, great question. And it's very simple. It's what the team have built, and what they have built is the fastest and most simple home loan origination platform globally. And that will allow us to serve customers better in terms of taking the stress and anxiety out of the home loan process, which can be quite problematic for people as they go through it. And there'd be one other thing I would say. I'm extremely proud of our Trustpilot results as well. Getting that feedback from customers, reading that just makes you know what you're doing is the right thing.
Awesome. Now we're kind of coming to a wrap up, Chris, and this is where really you get to share with the fintech community why they should consider voting for Nano. So in your own time, when you're ready, why should people get the vote or give their vote to Nano?
I think it's because we do exactly what we promised to do, and that is deliver fast home loan approvals without the hassle. What we say on the tin is what you get. And we're not just changing home loan approval process for a few Australians. Using our tech, we're going to scale that across the industry and also the globe.
Cool. Well, Chris, congrats to you and everybody at Nano on making the finals. As I mentioned, it's massive competition this year, so it's a huge achievement to get this far. And good luck to everybody on the night.
Thank you, Dexter. I appreciate it, and I look forward to the evening to celebrate.
The People's Choice Award is brought to you by Tier 1 People, leaders in fintech executive search. We'll help you launch, scale, and innovate by finding world-class people.